my computer will just be speaking on speakerphone for now.
Oh, holy cow. Edit. Okay, I need to fix this. Remove X. Remove. We're gonna add.
I don't hear any audio on me either.
We're gonna add
Oh, hold on.
Instagram. Yeah, I'm on. I'm on. It should be going. Hey, what's up, y'all? By the way, sorry.
Yeah,
We're fixing a few, just a couple little technical details, and we're gonna go live and talk about y'all's trees questions. Tree questions. Dang it. Okay, well, I am posting it to. Looks like LinkedIn after all. Ha!
you know what it might be? It might be because you're not a
I'm,
verified check mark.
I'm not a premium X user. No, I don't do X or
That's,
XXX or any
hey
of
man,
that garbage.
$2, 2 months. You can try it out.
No, I'll give it a shot. Well, with that being said, sorry, y'all, we had to work out a few technical bugs because it's the interwebs and the entrepreneurs of the future will be programmers, and I'm a bad one. So just so y'all know, great arborist, great forensics arborist, but and you know maybe even a good talking head. I don't know. I trained anyways, but I'm a terrible programmer. That's why I got my right hand man over here, Lucas. He's keeping me honest, and we're talking about y'all's great tree questions now. I am super stoked, you guys.
February 27th, by the way.
Okay. So I am like super stoked, y'all. I just got an email that I want to show you that is just going to blow your mind because hopefully, well, it blew my mind anyways. And it's an email that is like, well, I don't want to say life altering, but like this is life goals right here. So let me pull it up. So a while back in December last year, I submitted a proposal because for those of you that know me, I teach a lot. I do a lot of educational stuff on YouTube. I work with a few training groups, like online training groups that talk about trees. You know, they train about trees. So I submitted a thing to the International Society of Arboriculture's conference. They have an annual conference that we meet every year, and you know, it's just fun. You know, all kinds of speakers come from all over the industry, all over the world that teach about trees, and it's where a lot of tree guys come and we all network and kind of chit chat and get to know each other and all that. And it's a great thing. Well, check this out, you guys. I got an email back. I'm going to go ahead and, oop, that's a terrible screen view. I hate that one. Is it this one? That's the one I wanted. What's up, y'all? Dear Matthew, because that's my birth name. I go by Matt because it's easier to spell. Dear Matthew, thank you for your submission to the ISA 2026 annual conference. This is the part. It's like everybody skips all that and you just skim that portion. And here's the part you read. We are pleased to inform you that your submission has been accepted by the conference program committee. In order to secure your participation, please respond, blah, 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 blah. Tell them I'm going, I'm not going, or whatever. So anyways, all that to say, y'all, I'm like pumped because I got that. So I was going, actually, it's funny. I was going to teach at my son's school and I got that email saying like, I'm going to be a speaker at the ISA International Conference. That's cool. And so anyways, we had a great speaking conference at my son's school because I was like on cloud nine getting this email. So excited to be a part of that. For those of you joining us, like we're doing big things, and I'm happy to share everything I know with you guys. And also, I'm just a learner too. Somebody said, I love this quote. They said, the learners will inherit the earth. The learned know everything there is to know about a world that no longer exists. And so fortunately, tree care, if you're an industry guy or gal, tree care is on the cutting edge constantly. We're constantly growing and learning new things. They just came out with like an updated, basically like a book about coded. And it's an updated compartmentalization because quite frankly, Alex Shigo, father of modern arboriculture, he has done so much. I've got the books. I've seen some of the presentations that he's given. Actually, unfortunately, I was an idiot back when I was a punk teenager or early 20s something kid. I did not. I had the opportunity to go see Dr. Shigo, and like an idiot, I didn't. I also had an opportunity to go see a bunch of people in those days that I didn't because I was a stupid kid and I missed it. But y'all, the tree care industry is growing by leaps and bounds. Now, I know I talk about this a lot. If you look over here, That is a plaque that says I'm a registered consulting arborist through ASCA. ASCA is the American Society of Consulting Arborist, ASCA. And Jeff Ling, when I went through Consulting Academy, Jeff Ling, who was the chapter president of ASCA, or not chapter, but the president of the whole organization, said, I'm really excited for you guys because and my colleagues and I have worked for 30 years to try to grow this industry and make it something special. But y'all, meaning us, meaning you guys, if you're tree nuts listening, if you're tree professionals, are in an industry that is where modern arboriculture was, or where, oh my goodness, I can't say words, where modern medicine was in the 50s and 60s. Now, I don't know what he meant exactly by that, but I know what I heard was, y'all, it's an exciting time to be an arborist. So if you're a tree guy, congratulations. You are like on the cutting edge of everything cool that's going to happen in this industry, myself included. So welcome. Join us. We're so glad you made it. And with that being said, I want to get straight into y'all's great tree questions because we had some awesome ones. By the way, you guys.
I came across one when I was looking for that one we just approved. Matt,
Yep.
can you hear me?
I'm listening.
Okay. So I found one on the 27th that I think you also should look over. It's another gentleman with a funny remark by him finding the channel.
Oh,
so he said it's Jason something.
Wow, look at that. 11 minutes ago from Chelsea Smith. All right, you guys, check this out. This is crazy cool. So, okay, remind me about that, Lucas. We're going to get to that.
Okay.
So, a couple of days ago, I think last Thursday, we went online and we said, wow, look at this, guys. We're at like 6,600 or 6,500. Here we are less than a week later, and we have got 6,759 people. It actually says up here, if you look on the page, it says 6,800. And y'all, we started this last May, I think, or March or something. March, April, May, somewhere in there. And it has just been growing like crazy, you guys. We're hitting like 40, 50 people a day coming on and joining our awesome community. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Lucas, remind me of that because that's important. We'll get to that. But let's get right into y'all's great questions.
Just don't forget to refresh in case you get the newest post.
Yeah, I think there was one from 1 minute ago. Look at that.
Yeah.
Where'd it go? Oh, interwebs. Please work today.
I had one from a few minutes ago. Yeah.
Well, mine's bigger, actually.
9 minutes.
Oh, cool. Look at that. That's so fun. I love that. Okay, so Robert Smith. Oh, goodness. Oh, this is funny. For those of you in the industry, this will make sense so much. Now we're actually going to kick this comment later on. I think it's funny. I'm going to leave it up and see what the comments say because to me it's great entertainment. But Robert Smith coming at us. Looks like he's a line clearance arbro. Maybe I thought those were power lines running through there, but maybe it's different. From out of Clearwater, Florida. What's up, Robert? Glad to have you, buddy. When somebody thinks a certain tree care brand is a reputable tree company, bro, they do line clearance. They literally don't care about trees. I added some inflection and some emphasis in that because I know exactly what you're saying, Robert. I can't say too much. I cannot say too much, but I will say this. My experience, if you go to a doctor's office and they have hundreds of doctors, somewhere in that company is going to be that company's worst doctor. Now, I don't care if that's the Mayo Clinic, whatever. That like somewhere in the world is the world's worst doctor, and they're probably booked tomorrow. So tree guys are no different. We also have, we call it the lemon toss, where you toss the lemon from one company to the next, to the next, to the next, or whatever. And the lemon just gets tossed around. Nobody wants the lemon. Nobody wants to get stuck with the lemon for sure. And unfortunately, it's the exact same. Now, here's my experience with this particular tree group. I have been involved in lawsuits against them on cases that pertained to things that their people are listed in the books that wrote the definitions to how to do those certain things. I'm being very generic here. I'm being very non-confrontational for a reason. But I have been involved in cases against such companies that literally wrote the book on how to do the things that they were getting sued on. So, grain of salt. By the way, Robert, if you're listening to this, it's like that with every big company, bro. It's not just think P31, think Arborworks, Arbor Masters, Tree Works, Save a Tree, Davey, Bartlett, all of them. It's inevitable. You're going to have people that are less high quality than the representation of the company themselves. So just keep that in mind with a grain of salt. But also, I know the line clearance industry pretty well, you guys. We used to remove trees around power lines with cranes. We used to take cranes. The key is swing it away from the line and away from the human. But that's a joke for those of you that do tree care. Yeah, don't crunch the guy. Don't run into the power line with a crane. That's a bad idea. So I am very familiar with tree care on the residential side, on the commercial side, on the municipal side, and yes, on the utility side. And utility industry is a dirty, 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 dirty business. I'm telling you, it's like that's just the way it goes. So, all right, what's up, Avery? Thanks for your comment and your question. Looks like you're an arborist, and I'm hoping you're an arborist. Let's see. Y'all want to have some fun? Check this out. It's not slander. It's not libel. This is just treesaregood.org. .com.org. You can actually look up any certified arborist, and I encourage you to do so. You can even check me out. Check this out, y'all. Right here, treesaregood.com or .org. I think they even have .net as well, but treesaregood.com, treesaregood.org. This is a wonderful resource, whether you're a professional, but especially if you're a homeowner. And if you're looking to hire a tree expert, or a certified arborist, rather. Look at this. Look at how disgustingly long it's taking to load their website.
That's new. It did not take so long.
Yeah, well. We need to figure out a good time to do this because all the kids in my neighborhood get home right around the same time. So
maybe change it instead of doing 3:30, do it there at 2.
maybe. We'll see. All right, so who was it? Avery Roski, Avery Hansen, Avery Roski, Avery Pollock, Robin Marie Avery, Brian Avery McChristian, Kendall Avery. So I type in Avery, Mr. Avery McEachern, Neil Franklin Avery. So you can tell this is just a wonderful place to go and check it out. Now, the reason I did this, Avery, is not because I'm trying to like make you look like a fool or whatever. I love this actually. Okay, let me just read it because this is really encouraging. I worked for many people, but they only show the benefits towards success / money. By the way, if you're in tree care for the money, you're doing it wrong because this is a not-for-profit industry. If you're in business for yourself, especially, you are a not-for-profit entrepreneur. So that's the joke anyways. Tree care, this is an industry of passion. Don't do it for money. If you want to earn money, you want go buy and sell real estate. There's a lot more money in that. Go buy and sell illegal paraphernalia. There's a lot of ways to make money. I'm not encouraging you to do that. I actually encourage you, if you're like, you seem like you get the right attitude, because let me continue. I am trying to understand why trees do what they do to further help homeowners, to further myself be safe, and to further possibly keep trees around longer instead of instant gratification. Gratification, like removal of something 100 years old. I'd rather watch it survive / thrive than decay and be cut away. I love that, Avery. I will say this. So Shim asked you. Shim's a top-notch arborist. I think he just spoke at ISA as well. He's a great guy too, and I was just commenting on, I think he just celebrated his 8-year anniversary with his wife, or maybe 5 or something. Anyways, it was their first date, by the way, was a recreational tree climb. So I love that, Shim. Way to go. I'm not the same as you, but I promise that if you focus on what trees need, the money follows. That's actually true. So I joke about the not-for-profit thing. If you're good at what you do, I'm going here in a few days, I think a week and a half. I've got an expert witness thing. I'll make about $1,200. It'll take me about an hour. So just grain of salt. And those are not real numbers. I threw some crazy numbers out there, but similar. You know what I mean? I can't discuss those things for stupid legal reasons. So anyway, so Avery, I will say this. I looked you up. I'm not seeing any ISA certification yet. But that's okay. That's where you start, is go get your Arborist certification. What that's going to require basically is you have to have X amount of years in the green or tree industry. You have to like have some experience. It sounds like you do. I've worked for many people, but they only show the benefits towards success / money, which they're doing it wrong, because I think Shim's right. You start with providing good value, and the money comes out later. If I didn't do a good job at what I do, people wouldn't pay me what they do. Plain and simple. So I think Shim's given you some great advice. I don't think I need to expound on that much, but go on the ISA website, isa-arbor.com. Oops. And if you look under credentials, look at this. Their website's taking forever again, Lucas. Surprise, surprise.
Streaming does take a little bit of your upload speeds, but
A little bit indeed. All right, and then you click on types of credentials under credentials, and then you type on certified arborist application guide. There's actually a list on here. It's a whole PDF, 10 pages long. Check it out. Program guide. What is the value? Which areas of knowledge will it cover? What are the objectives of the certification program? Who is eligible? What's the process to apply for the exam? So you've got a whole thing here. It even tells you like what the exam questions, what percentage of each topic is going to be covered in that certification exam. The objectives: continuing education, provide a means for individual recognition among peers, provide a measurable assessment of knowledge and competence. Basically says you know trees, you know what you're talking about. Help the employer both in training personnel, selecting new employees, and assisting with professional development. Give individuals incentive to improve their level of knowledge and demonstrate professional accomplishment to clients. I'll tell you, you talked about money a little bit, Avery. Of all of the reasons to become a certified arborist, is people just automatically assume I know what I'm talking about as soon as I say I'm a certified arborist. That's not always true in my experience, but at least the clients think you are. So if you're looking for credentials and qualifications, there you go, buddy. But it's man, I'll tell you, the benefits go so far beyond that. The benefits are really, first of all, it should just be like the standard is you should not hire a tree care company without at least a certified arborist on staff. But second of all, so like as a homeowner, as a tree professional, some of y'all listening are, I would not hire somebody that was not at least a certified arborist. But knowing what I know, I would say, you know what, don't hire somebody that's not at least a board certified master arborist, because those are the ones that really understand. So, Avery, you're right on the right path. I think you should look at this. I think you should look at this website and download this PDF. And just get the ball rolling. You got to do a little research. You got to figure out what you're studying and why. Get the Arborist Certification Study Guide and just dig in deep, dude. In fact, one of the best things that I did, I call it Automobile University, is you take the audio version. You buy the book, obviously, read the book, but you buy the audio version as well, and you plug it into your car when you're driving to the job site, when you're riding to church. No, not church. You should be studying scripture then. When you're whatever, like when you're driving to the job site or running errands or whatever, Plug those tapes in and listen to it over and over and over and over and over again. Pick one disc, and that's the disc you study that week, particularly biology. And again, you got the percentages here. Biology is a big one. Pruning is a big one. Tree risk is a big one. By the way, those are going to be very important for you and the client. Here's the one that you really want to know: front ways and back ways. Safe work practices. So critical, so important. I have been in the industry for about 20, almost working on 23 years now. And I climbed for about 18 and a half of those years. And so the only way I was able to come home every day is, number one, the grace of God. There were a couple of instances where it did not matter what safety precautions I took, what I did, there's a certain amount of grace in there, and praise God for that. Also, there have been a couple times when the only reason I walked away was because of my proper safety equipment. I did indeed get flipped out of a bucket truck once. That happened. I'm not proud of it. I would really like to not have to tell that story, but my head hit the boom. I had a helmet on. We were good. And instead of falling to the ground, my fall arrest harness caught me, and I just hung there. I literally descended down. I hit my friction hitch, hit the ground, and I walked away. And just walked away. A tree crushed me. Like, I don't know how I walked away from that. That's grace of God, but also that's proper protection, personal protection equipment. So PPE, very important. Know your safety front ways and back ways, because everything you do does not matter if you come home in a body bag. Hope that helps, Avery. We're moving on from there. Chelsea, what's up, Chelsea? Thanks for the comment 12 whole minutes ago. Hello and good morning, everyone. Southeast Pennsylvania. That would be afternoon for you even. I'm looking for insight and advice on a tree in my backyard. When I bought this home, my elder neighbors, very kind, raised concerns over a tree in my yard. The branches were falling off, big branches. We got to cut back a year ago this month. All of the branches that were growing. I really hope they didn't lions tell that tree. Oh, okay. They did different. All right. The branches were flying off. Big branches. We got to cut back a year ago this month. A lot of the branches that were growing after that were also falling off. Today I noticed something leaking out of the tree. Posting original tree after cut and today's leaking. I have no idea what kind of tree this is, and I absolutely know nothing. Know absolutely nothing about trees in general. That's our job. Don't worry about that, Chelsea. We'll help guide you in the right direction. Leaves do grow back in warmer months. Good. Okay, so it looks like some kind of maple. Ooh, that's gnarly. That just hurts my heart a little. Just a little. Yeah, it looks like maybe a silver maple. Chelsea, is that right? Do you know if that's a silver maple or not? Oh, that looks so silver maple-y. Who knew? Okay, it looks like you got the vines off, which is awesome. Love to see that. Now I will be honest. I think they topped the tree. They should have reduction pruned the tree instead, but they topped it. Okay, that is the beginning of the end, Chelsea. Because what happens is every single one of those of those hack, chop, and slice cuts, those internodal cuts, or those heading cuts, topping or heading cuts is the heading is the technical term for it. You can see there's a massive explosion of growth off of each one. That's actually a good thing. You want to leave those sprouts. Don't cut them off. That's a beautiful thing. But you never should have topped that tree to begin with. I think reduction pruning would have been far superior. Whoa, y'all, look, check this out. Can you see right there? Right in there. That's actually a proper reduction cut. Almost. I think it would have been a better reduction cut if it were left to a larger limb. By the way, the general rule is 1/3. So, sorry, y'all. I just spoke at my son's. We do a homeschool program, but it's like a co-op program. So the kids there are super smart, and the school had me come in and teach about trees. So I got all my stuff in bags, all of it. Okay, so let's say you got a limb here. That's a terrible limb. So anytime, let's say you want to remove this branch, it is very important that this branch is 1/3 the diameter of the branch that you're removing. So when you make the cut, it'd be somewhere along here. This would be removed. You have to absolutely make sure that the branch that you're leaving is no less than 1/3 the diameter of the branch that you're cutting. That is super, super important. I think a lot of people miss it when they're trying to do cool things like reduction pruning. They miss those little tiny rules that make all the difference in the world. So that's that. It is possible to do the exact same thing that you're seeing here. Where you at? What's up, Chelsea? All right. So do the exact same thing. I think they topped it. Now, I don't know who did that, but shame on them. They should have showed you and told you a better way, but it is what it is. Let's get to your next question, which was about the oozing that's going on. So, yeah, that is nasty, nasty, nasty. That is TBH, the beginning of the end. What you're seeing here with the oozing is, I believe that's some sort of slime flux. I could be wrong, but it looks bacterial in nature to me. It looks like it's emanating from a wound here. I think it's slime flux, and I think you're probably okay. But you definitely, yeah, I agree. Suggest plan to remove it. Charlie Dillon. Hey, watch it now, Randy. Y'all got the last name. That is the same. I assume the worst here, buddy. So watch it, Randy. But yeah, I think they did your tree a great disservice. I think what you should probably do is plant something to be its replacement eventually. Now, you may be able to keep that tree alive for a little while, but I think you've got the beginnings of the end. Whoever did that, shame, shame, shame on them for not at least trying to convince you to do something different. I think if you're going to get a diagnosis, what I would do is just go to this website, take a sample of that liquid and maybe some of the surrounding tissue, and go to this website, find your local agriculture extension. Obviously, you're going to click on Pennsylvania. Oops, how did that happen? So just scroll on down here to the P's. OP, all one of them. And your website is right here, Penn State Extension. That's right here. Why does that not work? Okay, what the heck? That is a broken link. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna have to go in and redo this to make sure those links work. Thank you. Extension.psu.edu. I thought I had all my extensions right, but clearly I didn't. So when we say extension, by the way, that's your agriculture extension. That is, these are the go-to people in your state. So you may want to send that off to them. I think it's some sort of slime flux or bacterial wetwood. Not typically a big deal, but certainly worth looking at. So, all right. Anonymous is asking. I don't know where you're from. Need some advice. Is this Ceridium canker? Just planted this Arizona cypress about 3 weeks ago, and I'm watering three times per week, roughly. Notice who's sapping from the bottom of the tree, zone 8B. I don't think it's Ceridium canker. I think that's mechanical damage. Ceridium canker is more bleeding wound cankers. That is more of a mechanical damage that happens to be bleeding. So you won't notice a lot of like big Mars like that. And the reason I don't think it's Ceridium Yeah, physical injury. Matt's saying the same thing. Matt's a great arborist too, and he's got an awesome name too, y'all. I only know because I are one. Looks like a physical injury, probably damage in the planning process. That is what my thoughts are exactly. In fact, I think that is damage from just mechanical damage would be the word. Physical damage is what physical injury is the term that Matt is using. I agree wholeheartedly. I don't think that's ceridium. I think it's just something bumped the tree, caused a mar in it, and you're okay. I will say this though, ceridium canker is a nasty one. Check your soil. If you've got a clay soil, then you want to make sure you're watering like 1 or 2 days less than what you're doing currently. That's going to be really important. And also you actually want high nitrogen. That's one of the few times you'll ever hear me, you guys. Look. Where am I? That's like one of the few times you'll ever hear me say you want extra nitrogen. Is ceridium canker, because you can actually outgrow ceridium canker. Now, I have yet to find the studies that back this up, but this is what I've experienced in my personal practice. And it is practice, just like doctors and attorneys do, by the way. So, hope that helps. We're moving on. April asking, this is a birch in South Alabama. Ooh, that's nasty. The yellow stuff, never seen that happen. Is it sap? Yeah, it's slime flux, bacterial flux. Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah, I think it's slime flux, bacterial flux. It's basically the tree's bleeding and stuff's growing in it. It's benign. It's not going to damage or destroy your tree. Oh, this is fun. Lucas, you saw this one, right? Jane Sanu. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm about to comment too. I'm about to kick her.
Yeah, it has to do with the settings, because we have that little AI pretty much flagging anybody that doesn't have a profile.
Yeah. Hey, look, this is funny. Please explain to me and others why an experienced ISA certified arborist with over 35, it's different when you put it in that voice, isn't it? Over 35 years in the profession has their advice post declined. At this point, it has happened 2 times. What appears to be the problem? Well, it's funny because thank God for the internet. You actually responded a week ago. Lucas says, just a group announcement. It seems that anyone that doesn't have any kind of image / profile image is blank. Their comments get automatically declined by the spam filters. There's your answer.
Check it like every second. It's like notifications go off so much.
You guys, I woke up at 5. I woke up at this morning. Yeah, we're going through and checking these, but like this is not our full-time job. We do this to help you guys. So here's what's ironic. I woke up at 5:30 this morning. I sent a couple of emails off. I got a couple of proposals off. I actually finished one arborist report this is before 7, right? So 7 o'clock hits, I start to get ready. I got to take my son into his homeschool co-op. I take my son to his homeschool co-op. I come back, I do another arborist report. I do another consultation. And then I give a speaking engagement. And then I get home and I got another hour. So I get through a couple of, and by the way, in this time, I got through I got that email for saying that I was going to be a keynote speaker at the ISA conference. Awesome news. I love it. It's so fun. But I got to process that and I got to deal with that. So I send her an email. And then Lucas and I have a couple of conversations about some things. I got a 2-year-old that's got to go to bed for nap time. And then next thing I know, it's around, my power's coming out too. I'm losing juice too. Next thing I know is I get a couple of things done. I have a client conversation over the phone. I change some things in the inventory that I did with them. And now it's 3:40. Lucas and I are on the phone and we're like, we really got to get on the live stream. We're running late. So that's what my day has looked like just today. That's nothing. This is a nice, easy, light day. So Jane, I just got to say I'm disappointed. I am disappointed in how you're processing this, because sounds like there's an entitlement issue. And you're like, well, why isn't my stuff being included? And we just don't have time for that. Like, we're all professionals. Lucas doesn't just work for me. He works with a bunch of other tree companies. And he's kind and generous enough to spend time on these live streams with me, helping me out. But he works on my marketing. He works on my video processing. He works with like 6 other tree care companies throughout the nation. And he's a great guy, great marketing guy. But we're all super stinking busy. And yet, here we are still getting your post approved while you whine and complain about people not approving your post when we've already had this conversation. Also, we talked about, you guys, treesaregood.org. I gotta say, Jane, not seeing good things here. What's up, Sprout? Glad to have you, buddy. That's funny. I just saw it as soon as you did that. 32 years. By the way, this guy sucks at what he does. See what I did there, Lucas?
Yeah.
All right. He's terrible arborist. He thinks that everything can be solved with molasses and humic acid. And you'll notice I talk about that too. But he took the test 8 times to get certified. All right. Sinew. No, nothing. Let's spell it like you did. No, nothing. Jane. Oh, let's see. Janet. Probably not you. Jane Wills. No, that's not going to be it. Mary Jane Ash. That sounds like a tree person's name. Haley Elizabeth Jane Murray. Jane Hoptman. Janet Croswell. Jane. I don't see any snooze or anything close. All right, there's 3 pages. Let's get through it, y'all. Jane Herman, Joseph, Janiga, Janet.
Control F.
What's up?
Type in his name.
What's Control F?
Basically, it's a way of finding something on a Google Doc page.
No, I'm just showing. I'm just proving a point. Jane Schneider, that's close to Snoo or whatever it is. Maybe that's right. Sabone, Jane Sabone. I didn't mean to click on that. So, Jane, I'm wondering how you can possibly call yourself a ISA certified arborist with over 35 years experience, but you're having your post declined. That's funny, Sprout. Yeah, I get that, dude. That's the story of my life. We were just talking about this. So, like, what we're doing is I'm a little irritated because Jane's over here trying to make us look like a bunch of idiots. At this point, it's happened 2x. 2 whole X? That's crazy. What appears to be the problem? The problem is we already answered your problem, and you're over here whining and complaining. We do not have time for this, Jane. Jane, I'm going to kick you if you keep this up. Like, don't play games with me, Jane. You're welcome in this group. 35 years experience. I assume you know your stuff. But if you're going to come out here and like try to blast us online, we are all busy professionals. And it's about to get more busy because we're getting into busy season. So, Jane, I'm sorry that happened to you. But look, I didn't even do this. This is not even me.
If he goes back to his comments, he'll see that they've been approved. As soon as I see those things, I approve them. And I even, I think, I don't know if I reached out to this guy. I think I did. I told him it was like it's in a comment that he needs to update his profile.
Yeah. We already talked about this. Y'all, you got to play by our rules or you can't play. There you go, C. Lums. You got a profile pic. There you go. Now we can see you're a real cutter. That's hilarious. Because your profile looks fake. Your profile has all the common symptoms associated with a bot/AI account. Only if you can explain why you don't have a profile picture. There's your answer, Jane. I don't mean to be rude, but we got to move on. This is ridiculous. I'm going to delete your post. Yeah, this is so fun. So I called Sprout the other day. He had a nasty cottonwood tree that needed to be removed. And unfortunately, I didn't get there to be able to coach him through there. So he did it all on his own, but he got this tree removed. And man, Sprout you've come a long ways, dude. And I'm really impressed with where you're going and what you're doing. So keep that up, buddy. What are we doing? I'm whining and complaining. That's what I'm doing about people whining and complaining about me. Dude, I look forward to it. So I have a video about it tomorrow. For those of you that haven't, go join his YouTube channel. It's A Sprouting Arborist. And while you're at it, you may as well just join ours as well. We are Arborist on Demand. Oops. Abs. What's that? Yeah, we're growing like crazy, y'all. So if you haven't yet, go over to our website. It's arboristondemand.com. You can see I have children. That's how it goes, y'all. View your channel. Just look up Arborist on Demand. That's my company too, by the way. If you guys need a closer look at your trees, we do digital consulting all over, no matter where you are. Tommy boy, what's up, buddy? Thanks for being here and asking, can I ask something here? It most definitely a stupid question, but I am curious. Well, I'm curious too what your question is, man. Ask away. Let's see if we can answer it. That's what we're here for. We are going through, Tommy, and we're answering like our Facebook group questions. That's kind of our top priority. But absolutely, that's why we do these live streams, so you guys can come on here. Sprout asks questions. We get arborists from all over the U.S. and all over the world, really, asking questions. Is it possible? Yeah, talking shop, like that's what we're here for. It's just, yeah. I love the question. Are you a steel guy or are you a husky guy? It's a yes, and add Echo in there too. They got some great saws. The 590 is one of my favorites. That's a beefy saw for a very little price. All right, so Tommy Boy's asking, is it possible to have a cabbage grow from an onion bulb? If that onion bulb is decaying into dirt, yes. Those are from two very different families of plants. Now, mind you, this is an arborist channel, so that's not my specialty. What I can say, though, is we were looking at, I taught at a school today, we were looking at a tree growing out of a gutter, and we were talking about the forest and how the forest is basically like decaying matter turning into dirt. So the joke is, if a tree falls in a forest, who cares? Because that's a good thing, quite frankly. If a tree falls on your house, that's a problem. But all of that debris, all of that tree matter, whether it's trunk or even leaf, all gets decomposed by the decay organisms, both bacteria and fungus. So your question is very generic. Is it possible to have a cabbage grow from an onion bulb? No, if both are living. Yes, if the onion bulb is decaying, because that is essentially dirt, and yes, cabbage can probably grow from that. In theory, now I've never witnessed it, I've never seen it, but if my theories are correct, you should be able to grow that. But the bulb has to be decaying. So that's going to be really important. Personally, I just grow my vegetables in compost. I think that's a lot easier. So oh, that's super cool, Sprout. Last year on band tour, so I guess you're a band geek. I was an orchestra. I played the violin in high school. Last year on band tour, I saw black spruce growing on top of a previously abandoned steel factory in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I read an article that I think it wound up in Arborist News years and years. This is probably 10 years ago or more, give or take. And it was all about how Detroit, a dying city or an unaliving city, excuse me, Facebook algorithms, I'm so sorry. No, that's fun. I wonder if that's obvious. Drummers are way weirder than you, dude. Every drummer I've ever met is way weirder. So you can call trombone and be like, oh yeah, see, I'm weird. This is why, all you want. But like drummers are way weirder. They're all weird. They're all kind of like almost creepy weird. So also my best friend growing up was a drummer. So of course, man. Yeah, happy to help, buddy. Thanks for being here, man. Feel free to join us another time if you got other tree questions. Um, but yeah, so we were talking about Detroit, Michigan. Actually, that's where I'm going to be a speaker for the ISA conference, the International Society of Arboriculture, and coming up in August this year. By the way, for if you're an arborist, you should go. It's just great. And plus, I'll be there speaking. So you should definitely go. Mostly just to see me, but also to glean a ton of wisdom from a ton of awesome people who know trees inwards and outwards, literally and metaphorically. What's up?
That Tristan Smith comment.
Not really.
Skip it.
Tristan, go to ISA-Arborist.
Stephen G. Kind of almost breaks rules there, in my opinion. But I mean, that's kind of one of those things where they should just DM them. Uh, instead of put a comment about their business.
Oh. Yeah, Stephen G. Careful, man. That's a great way to get banned from the group. It's okay. Yeah, we're moving on. I'm gonna have to think about that one because maybe we got to get rid of it. All right, Daniel's asking, can anyone help me with what is going on here? Claret Ash, Riverland, SA. What is SA? San Antonio?
Yeah.
Looks like kind of San Antonio-ish. No, it doesn't actually. It looks like up north. Oh, dude. So, Daniel, you've got a lot of history with this tree. You may think that this just started recently, but it did not just start recently. This has been going on for a very long time. Oh, it's August something. Um yeah, I think it's actually root issues. Um, just so you know, Sprout, I am going to be a speaker at the ISA conference. You'll appreciate this. Check this out. I'm proud of this one because this is like I've been working for years to get to this point where they finally accept me. I made this announcement earlier, but I'll do this one for you, dude. So we are pleased to inform you that your submission has been accepted by the conference program committee. So I will be at the ISA 2026 annual conference. I will be speaking about liability when it comes to arboriculture and how to cover your butt, basically, how to avoid liability and how to CYA is really what it comes down to. So anyways, that's just yeah, coming up in August in Detroit, Michigan. There we're doing the ISA annual conference and I will be a speaker, which is really exciting for me. I am happy to be a part and honored to be a part of that group because there's some absolute legends I know that are going to be there. And so I'm just pleased to even be a small portion of it, even if I have like 3 people watching me while I'm there. That's cool. Kind of like we are here. All right, so Daniel, I think you've got a buried root flare situation. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the whiteboard here because this is really important stuff, you guys. Anytime you see a tree, if that tree has root flares, which are indeed buried, let's say this is the soil line. You are wrong. That tree is going to be stressed and just hating its life, to be quite frank. What happens is if I were to like plant a tree, it were to grow up into a big tree, and a squirrel were to come and take the acorns or the nuts or the fruit of whatever sort. No, that's fine. Is it going to be recorded? Because I don't think I can go there yet. Yeah, no worries, man. It'll be recorded. Yeah, and I don't know if I'll have copies of that or if it will be property of ISA, International Society of Arboriculture. So Sprout, sorry to answer your question, but Daniel, you've got a situation kind of like this. It's maybe a little more realistic like that, but essentially you've got a buried root flare situation. Whenever that happens, oftentimes decay pathogens can come in and they can start to eat away at the root system. And so what you wind up with is kind of what you're looking at right here. You wind up with a tree that has some decay. It looks to me like it emanated from the root system, but I could be wrong. And then you've also got a thin barked tree. Now, Sprout was asking if that was a red maple. I don't think so. I want to say eucalyptus, maybe? No, that's not right. What is that? What kind of tree is that, Daniel? We're trying to figure this out, man. Help me out. Laurel oak? Couldn't be laurel oak, could it? If that, yeah, I think that's laurel oak, actually. Okay, so I think it's a laurel oak. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It could be, I don't think it's a willow. The bark is completely different from willow. Yeah, that's oak family of some sort. I think that's a laurel oak. Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I think you've got a really toxic soil situation. Now, you say you're an SA. I don't know if that's some sort of assault or if that's San Antonio or otherwise, but sorry, there's some bad jokes in there somewhere, y'all. You've got a buried root flare situation. You've got a beautiful yard, and I mean that as a compliment, Daniel. Also, I mean that as if you got a beautiful yard, that usually means you're doing some sort of weed and feed or some sort of herbicide type product. That's going to stress your tree out. Now, I don't know exactly what you're complaining about or what's going on here, but what I can say is you've got a canopy that is really declining very poorly. Now, the yellowing, you can see there's a clear color distinction between, like over here on the left side of this image, which appears to be the healthy side of the trunk where all the tissue is living still. And then you've got a non-healthy side over here. You can tell that yellow coloration. You've got some chlorosis is the name for that. Sun scald is common in autumn blaze maple, but I don't think that's a maple. I think it's a laurel oak, and I could be wrong. I don't know. Daniel, help me out, man. Lucas, you're tagging him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a laurel oak. You've got a beautiful, like, Mexican plum back there, maybe. I think. But if you notice, too, the root flares there are also buried. You got to get those root flares excavated. You got a birch back here, something else back here. Man, you got a lot of... Oh, that's a post for a gazebo. Never mind. I lied. You got a lot of trees here, Daniel, and I think it's well worth spending a little bit of money to either have a professional come in and do it or a little bit of elbow grease in doing it yourself. But here's a video that I produced a while back. And it's all about, like, you know, girdling roots. So I think something happened in the root system here. I think this is what's going on with your tree, Daniel. Once the tissue is unalived, then the fungal pathogens kick in. Tree appears to be originally planted too deep. Years of abuse by weed whacker. Tree could never recover. If there are any signs of borers, it's secondary. Take it down. I don't disagree with that. I'm wondering if you wouldn't be better off, Daniel, planting a tree properly. Now, when you do this, make sure that it's planted with ANSI A300 standards. Bomber. Never seen EAB. That's because it's... Is that direct and upfront enough, Lucas?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not that. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry, y'all. I don't think that's an emerald ash borer issue because it's not an ash tree. If that is not an ash tree, then it is literally impossible for it to be EAB. Saying details, details, details. No, it's not. What is the way to tell? They start unaliving from the top, go to the root 3 to 4 years. That's not at all how EAB works, man. Emerald ash borer is not killing that tree. I'm sorry, William, you're wrong. Just flat out, objectively, flat out, just period, you're wrong. It's not EAB. It's not even. Look, let me show you EAB, y'all. Photos. Oh, wow. I don't know why I have that on my bookmark. Yeah, chestnut borer will attack oaks. 2-line chestnut borer. Absolutely. Albums. That's what I need. Y'all don't look for a second. That's my daughter, by the way. She makes faces all the time. It's hilarious. That's after trees. Oh, I got in a car wreck that day. That's cool. Ha. That's Mayor Whitmire, mayor of Houston, Texas. He's a cool guy. And where is the page I'm looking for? Here we go. All right, check it out, y'all. Let me show you EAB damage and why this is objectively not that. Emerald ash borer is specific to ashes. I think Sprout mentioned, if anything, except that for that one species that's super closely related to ash that can get EAB in rare circumstances. Are you talking about box elder? If you're talking about box elder, that makes so much sense. But y'all, this is the damage caused by emerald ash borer. This is in New Jersey, Texas. Oh, what is going on, y'all? Wow, that's a terrible. That's hilarious. But you can see how much damage is there. It's unreal how much damage they will do in a very. No, it's not box elder. It's a maple. Really, I didn't know that one. Okay, maybe you could teach me something, bro. I'm all about being wrong, you guys. I love being wrong because that's an opportunity for learning. That is emerald ash borer, and that is what the little buggers look like. Look at its cute little butt. Cute little butt sticking up in the air. He's just hiding. He's like, don't look at me. Anyways, I get that all the time. Like, oh, you're just one of those, like, talking arborists. You don't know. Man, I've been climbing trees since I was 3 years old, y'all. That's me. All right, Tommy boy, what's up, buddy? Asking another question. Might not be... That's funny. Topic that might be more up the tree alley. I like it. Is it possible to get roots to grow from a wooden picture frame if you planted it? Yeah, I don't see why not. See, the thing is trees need really 3 things, I guess. They need water, they need air, and they need some sort of grow medium. That could be soil. That could be, like in the example of Detroit, Michigan, that could be a rooftop. They can absolutely grow off of rooftops. So yeah, they need water, air, and a soil medium, some sort of grow medium. Now that could be soil, peat, it could be shavings from paper, whatever. As trees are looking to survive, they're not as specific about it. But now check this out. This is about 100 feet up in the air. That's the zoomed in version. Here's the removal version of it. For those of you that think I don't know, I'm just one of them talking arborists. I ain't never climbed a tree in my life, y'all. I've done everything. It's like the only thing I haven't done is helicopter assisted removals. That's from about 100 feet. That chip truck right there is about 16 feet tall. Multiply that by whatever 5, 6, and you got me sitting up there in that tree. The whole stem was about 4 feet in diameter. So, for those of you forestry that think I don't know how to climb trees, I was the fastest climber in the state of Texas, and I got as good as second place in the tree climbing championships for Texas. So, those were a whole life ago, though. So we don't talk about that. That was a whole other lifetime ago. I do have trophies and medals and stuff, which is cool. Nobody cares. What y'all care about is getting back to your stinking tree questions. I'm over here just chit chatting. Y'all don't want to hear that. Let's go back into your tree questions, you guys. Eric's asking, happy Monday. I have a birch that's fairly obvious issue with the top broken on 1/3 of the tree. I've never really been seeing good things happen for a tree that loses its top, and it belonged to a property owner who's not terribly concerned about keeping all the tree and doesn't mind seeing 1/3 of it gone. If I take down the broken trunk, how much stump is an appropriate amount? It seems leaving a foot or two would be smart and may give the tree time to heal without allowing rot into the heartwood of the other two trunks. I would actually leave it as is. I would cut the broken stem. Yeah, that's a bald cypress, by the way, not a larch. Yeah. Yeah, I would actually agree with James, like spot on. I would remove that, maybe even just cut it where it's at if you've got a good lateral branch to remove to. I would not remove that whole stem because that's the beginning of the end. Right now, you've got a whole tree that's working as one unit. Now you've got 3 stems that are kind of triangular shaped. That makes sense? Or something like that. And they're kind of all just sitting there, and all as the wind blows, they're kind of separating. If you remove that one, now there's going to be 2 left, and they're all going to be just brunt force. They're going to take on the wind like it didn't have any protection before, and they're not used to that. So it's absolutely best. Sprout's spot on. Yeah. Okay. Leave it as is. A headed cut or do a reduction cut on it. Yeah, I agree. I think just cut it right where it lays. The tree will seal, and trees are actually designed for that. It's really cool. I still haven't bought you guys. I'm slacking. Hold me accountable, please. I have not bought the new Coded book yet. I got to order that, and I got to have it shipped in like stat because I have not, and I'm sorry. I'm failing you guys as a learner. So, by the way, the river birch does not kind of quick, so makes. Oh yeah, it does rock kind of quick. Yeah, they're not good compartmentalizers at all. They are very bad. River birch, that's a short-term solution, no matter what. I do have some river birch down by like Buffalo Bayou and up in Trinity River Basin, up in Dallas area that I've cared for. That they're 50, 60, 70 years old. Some of them, they get pretty massive very quick too, by the way. But river birch is almost always meant to be an ornamental tree. On this topic, this is a really good point, Sprout. I may have found some EAB resistant green ash trees. I sent an email about them, and we looked at them last week. We absolutely did. See, the thing is I got a theory, and I've yet to be proven wrong, and I've yet to be proven right. But sort of. In almost every single pest or pathogen which comes in and wipes out a species, like oak wilt, or like EAB, or like woolly adelgid, or like a lot of the rusts and things like that, they come in and they have like 100% success rate in terms of mortality. But there's always that 0.01 or 0.1 or whatever percentage of trees that don't unalive. And when they don't unalive, y'all remember, so like I'm a millennial, you guys. I'm not trying to be offensive towards me, but I'm a millennial. I identify as a boomer and maybe even beyond that. I don't know. But we can identify as things, right? We can still do that. Is that what we're doing? Anyways, I don't identify as a millennial. I identify as a boomer, but I'm dating myself here. But I can remember a lot of pests and pathogens that used to, not for trees, for humans that used to come through. For example, chicken pox. Whenever somebody at school had chicken pox, you know what my mom said? Finally, the day has come. Please, she'd tell the other mom, please bring your kid to school. I'm going to send Matthew. I want to make sure they play together on the playground. and she would make me go get chicken pox. So what she was doing, they knew things that we're all scared about nowadays, which is like every disease or pest or pathogen or whatever. And it turns out our bodies have immune systems, and so do trees. So when we look at Mr. Old River Birch here, or Mr. Old EAB, or whatever it happens to be, um, we can see that Sprout is absolutely right. That there are going to be some resistant green ash trees. Now, I actually recently was on that was probably a year and a half ago or so, was on a conference call webinar about emerald ash borer. And we were talking specifically about resistance. And I think it's like 0.1% or 0.01% of the ash trees we're finding, just like my mom took us to school to get chicken pox, we're finding they have built up the immune system to fight them off. That's the beginning of the end of restoring our ash forests. And by the way, it may take 200 years. So y'all just be patient. Sit in tight, hang on tight, sit tight, whatever. We got a long ways to go, and we may not ever see that in our generation. We may have to see it 3 generations down the road. And that's how trees operate in terms of centuries, decades, and even millennia sometimes. So very important to keep that in mind. But yeah, I think you're... Oh my goodness. I would cut the left side down to the next largest branch. I'm going to be ridiculed by this, but I would do a similar cut to the right one. Yeah, I actually like that. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there, Charlie. I'm not going to ridicule you. Hey, Sprout, thanks for joining us, buddy. We'll see you next time, man. All right, cool. All right, so we again have had to welcome new members. Again, for those of you that aren't aware, we're growing like by like 40 people. Let's see. We've probably got more. So it's 6759 here. Let's see what we got. We probably got more just right here in the past few minutes. So for those of you that join us, thank you so much. You guys are the best. And y'all, I love being a part of this community. And I'm just here the talking head. I'm just here to come on here and do cool things. Look at that. 4 more people just in the time we've been talking, y'all, in the hour that we've been chatting. That's exciting stuff. So it is, for those of you that, we talked about Jane's post about how she's poor, pitiful me wasn't getting her questions and comments posted. Well, we do have some rules, and some of those were pre-set up by the Facebook algorithms, and some of them we have decided. So, like, we're going to keep this a clean group. We don't curse. We don't mock people. We don't chastise people. We don't even be sarcastic to people about their tree questions, because trees are important to people. All right, so Tina is updating us on her, I think it was arborvitae. I think it was arborvitae. It's been a minute, Tina. I'm sorry. Update us in soil samples to nematode assay lab in Florida. They found nothing and now has another whole branch unaliving. Seems every 3 weeks. I water it. Been using a moisture monitor. All those are looking good at that. At the moment, I'll try putting black cal around it, maybe all 7, but I had this happen to Trabecinus in the... Oh, Trabecinus. Okay, in the front yard also last summer. Let's see. I think it's going to be a drainage issue if it's not nematodes. Oh, that's funny. I don't know what Trabecinus is. That's. I looked it up and it said Trichomonas vaginalis is an STD transmitted through unprotected, you know what. While many people, particularly men, are asymptomatic, symptoms in women include itching, burning. Never mind. I'm not gonna go into details, y'all. Foul something or other. I don't know what those plants are. I know what these are. I think, yeah. So I think it's going to be a drainage issue. They look like they are doing the teacup effect. By the way, quick tree lesson, you guys. So whenever you plant a tree, we just got done planting all these different trees. And I love planting because it doesn't pay well, like at all. Like at all, you guys. I get paid so little. Like, okay, let's say 200-gallon tree. That's going to be about a $5,000 tree planting for me, right? It's not cheap. We'll talk about that. Okay, so here's the thing though. If you set the tree up for success, it almost always will succeed. Now, I encourage all of you tree guys to invest in the ANSI A300 standard. That's hilarious. So whenever you plant a tree, let's say you've got a tree root ball that looks like this. That's a terrible tree root ball, but you get the point. It's like reflecting the image off of my screen. How do I get around that? Oh well. You're just gonna have to suffer and stare at the glare, you guys. So most people, when they plant a tree like that, they plant something like this. So let's say you've got a 24-inch root ball. Well, here's the problem is ANSI standards, they just updated them in 2023, state that it has to be 2 to 3 times the diameter of the root ball. So if you've got a 24-inch root ball, you want a, ready for this? 48-inch. That's 4 feet, you guys. That's 4 feet minimum. 4 feet or 6 feet, 60 inches. Like, this is crazy, you guys. Or 72, rather, if I can do math. That's fun. Glad only 2 of y'all are online live right now. That's fun. So you want at least 48 inches or 72-inch root ball. Very, very, very important, because what that does is instead of the roots hitting, they're coming out and they hit that and they run in and they curve back around and they come back around and they come back around and they come back around. Instead, what they're doing is now they've got this big wide bowl to choose from. So the roots start growing, and it's so much easier for them to get established into these like that when you have 2 to 3 times the diameter of the actual root ball. So when I look at your arborvitae, I think it is, Tina, I see, yeah, if it's not nematodes, it's going to be just a simple planting wrong. What you need to do is radial trenching. And let me get this, because I've got a video for you. By the way, if y'all haven't joined us on the Tubes of You, I do put out about 3 to 5 videos per week. I slacked on it a little last week because I was just slacking, you guys. It's not personal, it's just business. And so I would recommend doing the radial trenching. They look too deep in the ground. Have you had a visit from your county extension agent? Yes. And then I'm going to go ahead and post that one to you as well, because that's a really good one. So somebody mentioned your local county extension agent, and I actually agree with that. I think that'd be a really wise decision. So, Lucas, I think we're going to have to call it here in a minute, buddy. Maybe do one more. You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more, you guys. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. All right, so Jack Gosh, Goddess. I don't know how to pronounce your name, buddy. I'm sorry. Let's get to this question. That's fun. I had the Temple Run 2 world record in 2013. I played for hours in one run with sweaty hands. That's the story of my life, bro. I don't even know what that means. All right, so I need some guidance. I have a palm tree that started growing rapidly last 2 years after 20 years or so. Now it's buckling the decorative curb of the backyard. See front view photo. My only real concern is the back wall. I'm not married to this palm, but I certainly don't want to blow out the adjoining back wall. I believe it's a date palm, but unsure. I don't think it's a date palm. I think it's a Mexican family palm or something like that. Some sort of fan palm. I'm not married to this palm. I believe it's a date palm, but not sure. It seems inevitable that the back wall will be compromised, but I don't know. I'm unfamiliar with how pervasive root structure is relative to cement and block wall construction. Any input appreciated. I'm seeking to determine time before a real problem occurs, ways to trim and slow growth of the palm. I've had this done in recent years. By the way, you cannot prune in slow growth unless you top it. Don't do that. That's just thank you in advance. All right, so Jacob Gilliam, I would probably trust his opinion more than anybody else's on here because he actually lives in Florida. So he's in Sarasota. If y'all need a great arborist, Jacob is your guy. He's a phenomenal arborist. He actually just finished the ASCA Consulting Academy as well. So he is well on his way to becoming one of the few, the proud, the registered consulting arborist. And there are indeed only about 450 of us globally. So it's such a mess. We need to have more. No, I don't think your majestic ash is unalived. That's a different answer to a question. So I actually agree with him. I don't think it's going to get bigger. What I'm seeing is, let's leave page. That's a fan palm. That's not a date palm. Side view, right to left. Okay, so you're getting really close on that wall. The roots could cause problems. Yeah, that's a Mexican fan palm, I think. Washingtonia. Yeah, it's a Washington palm. You're right. I'm sorry, Bob. You're absolutely right. My bad. Appears you have kept it cropped to reduce height. Rapid recent growth possibly means roots have found water source. Your wall and surrounding concrete will be compromised by increasing girth over time. The thing about palms is they grow different than deciduous trees do. So what does that mean? Palms do not have meristematic tissue on their trunk cambium, on their cork cambium. They do not grow wider in size. They do not add living cells and living tissue onto their edges. So I actually don't think it's a problem structurally for the wall. I would follow Jacob's advice. This is definitely one you would remove if you cared about the wall. That's the thing, is Jacob is a palm expert. We'll remove in stages to address the issues. I think if you do care about the wall, I think you are going to have to, but only because of moisture fluctuations, not because of the tree growing in girth. Deciduous trees and pine trees and conifers do that. Palm trees do not. The only reason they get fatter is because, well, kind of like how we get fat. We don't actually add fat into our bodies. What happens is the cells get inflamed and enlarged, and that's what adds fatty tissue. They take on moisture, they take it, whatever. Like there's, I'm not a biologist for humans. I'm a biologist for trees, obviously, kind of in a way. But that's essentially what's going on. The trees, palm trees, do not have the ability to add tissue like deciduous or coniferous trees do. What they can do is get fatter because of enlarged cells. But it's not one. You're kind of capped at a certain threshold. They're not like your giant sequoias where they're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger until you can drive a car through it. They're going to be capped at a certain size, and technically there is no cap, but literally there absolutely is a cap. And so just some things to consider. So I think Jacob's right, is long-term, right tree, wrong location. I think if you do care about the wall and you want to prevent structural damage, your best bet is to remove it. Although it really wouldn't hurt to plant something smaller, maybe like an actual miniature date palm. Something like that would be great there. But yeah, I think you're okay. If you want to leave it, it might continue to push and might continue to draw moisture from that area, which can change it. Hang hose or garden signs off the stump. What on earth is that? That is not arboricultural advice. First cut top in stages, then down a couple feet at a time in stages. So, all right. With that being said, you guys, thank y'all so much for being a part of this group and being here and hanging out with me on a Tuesday night, just chit-chatting about trees, you guys. We had an awesome session today. Got some great answers. Great questions answered. And again, if y'all need a closer look, feel free to hit us up on the web at arboristondemand.com. stay tuned, and of course, continue to just be involved. Like, this is a fun and growing group. We've got a lot of great activity. Y'all check this out. This is fun because I really like going through the activity log and seeing kind of some of the activity that's going on. But you guys, we are just growing by leaps and bounds. No, that's not it. What I wanted. Growth. Check this out. This is what I needed. Look at that. Versus February 1st. So since March 1st, we've had almost 500,000 views, you guys. That's unreal. Oh, no. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's from February 1st to March 1st. So over 500,000 views. 2,100 posts and comments, you guys. Can you all slow it down a little bit? Actually, you already did. It's down 61%. 60% from February. We are just growing like crazy. 147 posts or comments, 146 that day. Look, our lowest is 39 on February 8th. No, that's not our lowest. 20. That's still a lot, you guys. 20 posts and comment on one day. This is just such a fun group to be a part of, and I'm honored that y'all would be here. Again, if you have questions, drop us a comment here. Just go to Ask an Arborist. Look that up on the webs of face webs here, and just look up Ask an Arborist. We're the ones with the silly photo up top. And again, we've grown by like 40 per week for the past month or so, and we only got better things coming for you guys. So love you guys. Thanks again for being. Yeah, and that's a great point, Lucas. Shout out to all you other arborists on here. We've got some really world-class arborists here. Some of y'all see Ronald. Some of you see Lindsay Purcell, Guy Mayer, Shem Kendrick. We mentioned Joe Zanuski, however you pronounce your last name, bro. He's a fellow Texan. I'm sorry. And a bunch of other you guys. I love you guys and this community, and I'm just really grateful to be a part of it. So, again, thank y'all so much for being here. If you have questions, drop us a comment, of course, on this video. Or you can go to our Ask an Arborist group and ask it right then and there. And of course, if you need help with your trees, hit us up on the web at arboristondemand.com. We can at least guide you in the right direction, no matter where you are. I would say just here in the United States, but now we're working internationally too. So we've been Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. We had several in Canada. Had one in Mexico not too long ago. So it's really fun because in a digital age, fortunately, we can get on here and help you guys no matter where you're at on this beautiful, bright, green planet that God has gifted to us. So thanks again for being here, you guys, and we will see you next time. Bye now.